Welcome to the Unmistakably Magic Podcast. I'm RJ.
And I'm Cort.
We are two lifelong fans of Disney parks and all theme parks.
Each week, we bring you the latest news from Disney parks and beyond.
Plus, this week, we'll be talking about what we do to plan a trip to a park. Is that what you wrote?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was that intro?
It's like movie announcer voice, man.
In a world where theme parks are king.
Unmistakably Magic 2017.
Well, if you can't tell, RJ is a little excited for his trip coming up.
It's only 5 days away, right?
From today, yeah.
5 days away.
Yeah,
from
5
today.
whole days. So we're going to tell you what the process that we go through when we plan a trip.
It's episode 39.
59.
59. Wow. That was way off. Let's kick it off with some news. That was 20 episodes ago. 39, 59, whatever. It's insane.
It's okay. We all know you didn't go to real college.
Hey, listen, okay? I have a bachelor's degree now, okay?
You do. You do.
Doesn't matter where it's from.
Well, it's debatable. I think a bachelor's degree from like Stanford holds a little more ground than even a bachelor's degree in what I'm getting in from like CU.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, kicking off the news this week, a new maze has been announced for Halloween Horror Nights over at Universal Hollywood. Insidious Beyond the Further will be based on the upcoming movie Insidious Chapter 4 and will delve into the horrific past of Dr. Elise Rayner, taking guests on a journey back in time to confront the depraved being who tortured her since the 1950s. Halloween Horror Nights begins September 15th.
Cool.
Spooky.
Yeah. I haven't even heard about that movie, so cool.
No, I honestly hadn't heard about Insidious Chapter 4 until I typed it. Like, what?
What is it?
But it's a new maze. New
Cool.
stuff. More things. Halloween Horror Nights hasn't gone the Disney route and started in August yet. But it's creeping closer.
It's getting closer.
Creeping closer. Well, Roaring Fork has reopened over at Disney's Wilderness Lodge, and some new menu items have come alongside the makeover of the restaurant. For breakfast, new items include the 10-hour pulled pork cheese grits plate. So it was, I don't know if it was simmered for 10 hours or smoked for 10 hours. I may have missed
sat
a
out
word.
for 10 hours?
I doubt that.
That's probably 10-hour smoke.
10-hour smoke. Yeah, I missed a word there. But it comes with poached eggs and Banana Foster's French toast. Lunch and dinner bring the brisket burger with cheddar cranberry barbecue sauce, cast iron irons, and frisee on a brush. I can never
Brioche.
pronounce. Brioche bun. I hate.
You're so uncultured.
I am.
Talk about my bachelor's degree.
I live in I go to school in the Boulder bubble.
Brioche.
It's brioche. The brioche on a brioche bun. And it also brings the gourmet grilled cheese with cheddar, arugula, tomato, and onion jam on multigrain bread, as well as some new flatbreads and salads.
Nice.
If you think I am uncultured now, there's a bit of news coming up later on where you will
Make even more fun of you?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Well, some new music acts are coming to this year's Food and Wine Festival over at Epcot. The new acts include Raffi and Seroit, and some returning favorites include Musique Armaneco?
Sure.
Yeah. And Margaret Ulmer and the Bavarian Band, as well as Bodhakton?
Sure.
Bodhakton. I feel like that's the best way to pronounce it.
Sure.
Bodhakton.
There's an apostrophe in the middle there, so.
Yeah, English
I don't
doesn't
know
have
what,
that.
Yeah, I don't know what letter's missing, but there's an apostrophe.
But it's not there. This is kind of fun, bringing in some new acts. Raffi and Seroit.
Yeah.
Two new acts that haven't been seen before.
Is this part of the Eat to the Beat, or is this just
No,
like
this is just part of
general,
Food and Wine.
like atmosphere music?
No, this is Food and Wine. So around in each pavilion, there's some different stuff. So Music Aramenko is Moroccan.
Moroccan.
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming the Bavarian band is, Germany.
Probably. So they're just
Mexico.
playing. So they're just playing in different times throughout.
That's kind of cool.
But they're each playing. So like Raffi is the first part, and then Saroit is like part 2. So it's only like I feel like Raffi's until like October 3rd or something like that.
Okay.
And then Saroit is from then through like the rest of October.
Oh, and then
It's like mid-October or something, and then
All right.
next band takes over. Well, the creators of Split and Get Out are teaming up with the creative team behind Halloween Horror Nights to bring Sinister, Insidious, and The Purge to life with one giant haunted house. Horrors of Blumhouse will bring guests face to face with memorable moments from The Purge and Sinister, as well as making guests the stars of the next home murder movie of Bagul from the Sinister series. I don't know if I pronounced his name right.
Sure.
Bagul.
Bagul. Bagul.
This haunt will be both at Hollywood, Universal Hollywood and Universal Orlando, but it'll be different at each resort.
Well, that's kind of cool. If you really love that series, I guess you could go to both. And
any of those 3
experience-
series, yeah. Go experience the differences.
Wow.
Dive into them. Well, Amorit's Patisserie has added a new wine slush to their menu over at Disney Springs. The Strawberry Shiraz and the Mango Moscato have both been added to the menu of the bakery to help guests cool off in the Florida
Mango
heat.
Moscato.
I like mango.
And Moscato.
I don't think I've ever had Moscato.
I don't know what that is. Yeah, sure.
I feel like it's a type of wine,
Probably, I'm guessing, yeah.
but people were stoked about this.
I could see that being a good way to cool down.
There was all over social media, people were loving it. I even saw a couple of my non-Disney theme park enthusiast friends
Enjoying it.
posting stuff about like, oh my gosh, I have to go to Disney World right now to go get this.
Wow.
So
Are they winos?
they're pretty big wine people. You call them winos? I've never heard that
Lush.
before.
People call people lush that's into wine.
I never
Never
heard
heard
that
of
before. No.
No, I'm old.
I've only heard alcoholic and beerholic. Wineaholic? Yeah, we'll go with that.
Wine. Sure.
Whiskeyholic?
Whiskey. That's a little too specific.
Okay. What, hard liquoraholic? Well, the Slinky Dog Dash ride vehicles have arrived over at Walt Disney World's Toy Story Land. The vehicles pretty much resemble Slinky Dog to a T.
Yeah, they really did a good job. If you guys haven't seen, I mean,
They released a video on their
they released
YouTube,
a video on
yeah.
their YouTube. Several other of the big blogs and big YouTubes have re-released the video, and it looks really good.
Yeah, they look excellent. When they were doing like the kind of preview mock-up stuff, I didn't know how I felt about the ride vehicles. But now that I see that like his ears are pretty much stationary, which are nice because they're not getting in the way of anything.
Yeah.
It looks like a coiled spring,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's more of like a roll bar almost kind of look.
Kind of a roll cage.
Doesn't quite really block the view or anything, or you're not having to try to wiggle your way in or out. I was like, oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, they actually designed them really
Yeah.
well. So, A+ on ya, Disney Imagineering. You're doing it right. Well, SeaWorld is under federal investigation after shareholders filed a lawsuit claiming that the company purposefully deceived investors regarding the impact of the Blackfish documentary. According to the lawsuit, SeaWorld failed to mention the film or any potential impact it may have on the company in the legal documents they submitted before going public. In fact, SeaWorld still refuses to acknowledge any impact on the company brought forth by the film, even after they announced their largest decline in attendance ever, with a 13% drop. SeaWorld has been alerted of the federal investigation and is planning to fully cooperate.
Interesting.
They're really going the whole route of, okay, if we don't talk about it, it doesn't exist. Or if we don't talk about it, it'll eventually go away.
Which is funny to see them react to the Blackfish stuff by like doing things with the killer whales and other things that they have done.
They
to like
stop their breeding of the orcas.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. But it's a reaction to it, but to not acknowledge it, like at all.
They never said. Well, they haven't said like because of this film there will be.
Which I can't blame.
Impact.
Can't blame them either for that. To try to put the best face on it, but
they have admitted. So in 2014, when they went through that new CEO, new leadership kind of change phase, they did come out with a statement saying like there has been negative. Like the general public has had a negative view on SeaWorld.
They also came up with a couple YouTube videos too, I think. Where they were like trying to refute some of like one of them was like one of the trainers that was like, that's not this person who's talking, that's me.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
Yeah, and it's like,
oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and they really tried to refute like the way that the documentary was edited and how it kind of pushed that agenda that they had.
Which I will give it. I don't know if you've watched it.
I actually haven't.
Oh, it's an interesting one to watch, especially from kind of our perspective and talking about SeaWorld as much as we do. They definitely do edit it in a way that doesn't make it clear what park they're talking about sometimes, because they talk about several other parks that have had major issues, like way bigger than SeaWorld ever had, and they don't make it abundantly clear that they've jumped to a different park. Ooh. Or that SeaWorld doesn't participate in, like, the movie opens, like, spoiler alert, I guess, but opens with, like, capturing of whales, like a baby whale, like, and it's like this horrific, like, scene.
Yeah, and SeaWorld doesn't participate in that.
Yeah, but they don't make that clear. They just instantly kind of go into, hey, here's all the other issues with it, and here's SeaWorld, and you're like,
SeaWorld behind all
so you're
of it.
already amped up at the beginning going like, oh, this is terrible, and then SeaWorld, then they throw SeaWorld's name out there a bunch, and then, again, they mix in some stories from some other parks where they've had deaths by killer whale and some other incidents.
Yeah.
And then don't really, they kind of say where it's at, but they kind of don't ever like.
They don't explicitly say like, hey, this is at
we're now
like
jumping
this
back
park
to this.
in China.
Yeah, because they kind of jump back and forth between some of the incidents, and so you're like, it's easy to loop them all together and forget that they're talking about different parks.
Separate parks and things. Okay, yeah. Because SeaWorld really, I mean, that's the main argument that they had against Blackfish was, okay, they don't make it, the editing process behind it.
Yeah, and like they didn't make it clear
biased.
that SeaWorld doesn't participate in some of these other things that they were talking about specifically.
Yeah.
So for SeaWorld's perspective, I get it, but I also think it's silly to ignore it from an investor's point. But also, I guess you're a company and you're not going to go out there and say,
yeah, Blackfish
is right.
This aspect's right of it, but these aspects are wrong.
Yeah.
Like you could say that.
Kind of
You could
ignore
say,
it. But
okay, Blackfish exists. Here's the impact that we've seen. Invest with what you will.
Yeah, or here's our plans to move past that.
Yeah.
Or whatever, yeah.
That would have been nice.
I know.
Just acknowledge the thing, SeaWorld.
Just,
come on.
Instead of pretending it didn't happen.
The main argument behind the lawsuit is because they did see that statement that SeaWorld put out where it's like there has been a negative view in the general public on SeaWorld since like 2013. Which was when Blackfish came out. Yeah, it's like so they still didn't explicitly say Blackfish, but like people were like, hey, because of Blackfish. But the investors are saying like it was too delayed of a response or of a statement.
Yeah.
To say or an acknowledgement even of that documentary existing.
Yeah. That's
to kind of say, I still want to invest, or no, I want to pull out. It was just too late, and so now they're suing SeaWorld, and now they're under federal investigation. So.
Sucks for them, yeah.
Ooh. Might see the closing of some stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or SeaWorld, or in general. Well, the full schedule for Disney's Night of Joy has been revealed for the concert weekend over at Disney World. There will be performances by Natalie Grant, Toby Mac, Mercy Me, Amy Grant, Stephen Curtis Chapman, Crowder, Ty Tribbett. Is that his name?
I don't know.
I've never heard of him before.
Some of the other ones I recognize, but
and many, many more. For tickets and a full lineup, head over to nightofjoy.com. Do you know tickets start at $45?
Really?
Per day. That gets you into Magic Kingdom.
Wow.
I would pay the $45
And just
and
not
go
care
ride.
about
Yeah.
not care about the concerts. Yeah. That's interesting.
It's
I wonder
incredible.
if is it subsidized by somebody or something, or are they just?
I have no idea. It
Wow.
has to be.
That's weird.
There is no way Disney would give that big. I mean, it does
Half off.
fill
That's
the park.
more than
it's
half
more
off.
than half.
Wow.
Ridiculous.
Wow. I didn't know that. I kind of thought it'd be
Right.
like one of the other ones where you pay $45 and you got to have a
Plus.
park ticket.
But
Yeah.
you pay sales tax for the park ticket on top of the $45. So it's like
Ooh.
$10. So
Yeah.
it's $55.
Ooh.
Still, you're paying
No, please.
half price to get
Yeah,
in.
seriously.
It's ridiculous. And I'm sure there's some limitation on when you can get in. So
Like
I'd be
during the concert
astounded.
time, but not. You can't go there to park rope drop or
Well,
whatever. But
Like concerts start at like 11 a.m. though.
so you could still. Yeah, I'm
So
assuming
you
and
get-
assuming they probably let you in early so you could get near
Yeah.
the stage or whatever. Yeah. I don't know.
So maybe it's a full day ticket for like $45.
Weird. When is that?
I actually don't know.
I want to say it's middle of September
Is it?
or maybe early October or something.
I don't know. Hang on.
Hold on, we're looking it up. Stand by
Enjoy the music.
so we can get tagged on YouTube for using copyright material.
It's so funny. We only got tagged once. For
No,
this
I
music.
look back. We got tagged once again.
September 8th and 9th. So I
Okay.
guess twice. Ooh. 2 times.
Do you have to have a ticket for that to get in? Or if you're going to Magic Kingdom those days, can you just go?
I'm sure you could just, because they're just stages throughout the park.
Okay.
So if you're going there,
I wonder what day we're at Magic Kingdom. Just curious.
you might want to avoid them.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
It's going to be ridiculous.
Well, I use touring. I mean, we talked about this in the main topic, but
Yeah, we
I
will.
use touring plans, and so
Based off of that. And
theoretically
look
they would
everything.
mark that up.
Yeah. That's when you go?
Yeah, we're going 8th will be at Epcot, 9th will be at Hollywood Studios.
So, yeah.
The 10th we go to
Magic Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom.
Fair enough. Well, back to the news.
Oh yeah, that thing.
Six Flags had an absolutely massive announcement this past week.
With an amazing video. If you don't know.
It
What that
honestly
do?
looks like something that comes out of like a middle school AV club.
Or like a bad company safety video.
Yeah.
Like safety is important.
Well, actually, so when I was swimming my freshman year, we had to watch a MRSA video.
Oh yeah.
About, a video about MRSA, and it was like this dude who was on a football team, and it was an obvious green screen, and it was just the worst backdrop, and it honestly looked like it's so bad.
It's so bad. So go over to YouTube, look for it. Inside the Magic Hat, I don't know. I'm assuming Six
Theme Park
Flags
Review
probably,
has
yeah.
it. Six Flags uploaded it. It's so.
Is it their
it's
CEO?
worthwhile.
Is
It is
that
their
who that was?
CEO, and he's like,
He's like riding him Harley, and he's like, "Here's what's going on," and then he
"We're
like,
driving across the U.S.
Yeah.
from coast to coast."
and he like gets off the bike, and it's clearly a green screen and everything. You're like,
so funny.
okay,
It is so funny. But their announcements were huge
they were. That I will give them that.
and awesome. They announced a huge lineup of new attractions coming to their parks in 2018. Some of the highlights include Wonder Woman's Golden Lasso, which is the world's first single-rail roller coaster. This is really cool.
It'd look cool, yeah.
The coaster will be made by Rocky Mountain Construction, going to be referred to as RMC from here on out because Six Flags really likes to use RMC. And it'll be their Raptor model, which will feature 2 airtime hills, a 180-degree stall, and a 0G roll, as well as... So their Raptor model, they have 2 single-rail models, for those of you who don't know. I'm sure you don't know.
Until this, yeah.
And they have 2 single-rail models, so it's basically just an I-beam that the coaster is attached to. And their Raptor model is their smaller of their 2 models. They have the Raptor and the T-Rex. The Raptor has riders sitting single file, but they each have their own seat. So kind of like Matterhorn bobsled or
Yeah.
Space Mountain over at Disney World style. And they're each in their own individual car as well, though. And then the T-Rex model is side by side.
Cool.
But still really awesome. And that will be going to Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. Crazyanity is coming to Magic Mountain as the world's tallest pendulum ride, coming in at 17 stories tall.
Wow.
Cyborg Cyberspin will be the first triple-axis spinning flat ride in North America and will come to great adventure, with a clone coming to Six Flags Over Texas in the form of Harley Quinn Spinsanity.
They both made me want to puke.
They look incredible.
Just watching the video, I was like, whoa, whoa.
So I don't really know how to describe it.
It's like the
three rectangles.
It's like the 0G spinner thing that NASA does to their people, where it's like three rectangles. The one I'm thinking of, the NASA one, it's like 3 rings.
Yeah,
and
it's
they
basically
can
that.
basically spin in every direction.
They spin on 3 axes, so you have a vertical or an x-axis spin, a y-axis spin, and then another axis in between there, so it's between x and y. And it's it looks so crazy. So those are finally coming to North America because they've been in Asia for a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. So that's awesome. Twisted Cyclone will be an RMC makeover of the Georgia Cyclone and will feature 3 inversions, a 75-degree drop, and 10 airtime moments. And that's coming to, obviously, Six Flags Over Georgia. New England is getting a 15-story pendulum ride, and Six Flags Mexico is getting a 4D free-fly coaster. Six Flags America is getting an upgraded Lazy River, which will be 33% wider and over 40% longer than their existing one. Discovery Kingdom will be getting the Harley Quinn Crazy Coaster, which will be the world's first of its kind inverted looping coaster that features a dueling element and a high five element. So this one, I believe it was RMC again.
Probably.
It was. It's a compact coaster model. It's basically just a figure 8, and there are 2 trains, and they just go back and forth inside the 2 loops for a little bit, and then they cross over each other, and they dive into the next loop, and then go up and repeat over and over.
They had a video of that one too, right?
Yeah,
they had a video of all these, at least concept video. Yeah.
Yeah, they did. So that's really cool that concept's actually being built.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh, I lost my spot. Great America is getting the world's tallest loop coaster. I hate this. That will stand 100 feet tall, and it'll be named Loop Coaster. Real creative there.
Really?
So we actually have one of these at Elitch's.
The one up in the air.
No. So that's the Sky Flyer.
Okay.
This was installed, I believe, 2 or 3 years ago, shortly after they got sold, not from Six Flags, but from whoever bought them after that.
Yeah.
I think it's actually called like a Nelson loop. Don't quote me on that, but it's basically just a giant loop, and it just goes, and it's you're sitting down in it, and then it'll go around the loop a couple times.
Yeah. Okay.
But it has to build up the momentum first.
So you kind of go back and forth, and then you finally go, whoa.
Yeah.
Right,
So this will be the world's tallest, and it'll stand 100 feet tall, and it'll also feature face-to-face seating. So
I did see that in the video. I was like, what?
Yeah,
Are they
it's
looking
weird.
at each other? Yeah.
It's weird.
It's like train car seating where you're like in rows, and you're like 2 of you facing each other, and then like you're back. It's like booths, like diner
basically.
booths.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Where normally you're facing back to back on those ones. And finally, Six Flags St. Louis will be getting Typhoon Twister, a new hybrid zero-gravity slide complex that will feature 2 attractions. We only got word on one of the 2 attractions. And it'll feature 4-person rafts that will careen into a 125-foot whirlpool bowl that will lead you into a 5-story drop, then up a 45-foot zero-gravity wave wall. And then it'll dump you out into a splashdown pool.
Wow.
And all of these attractions will open in 2018.
Wow.
All of them, like theoretically for now, in time for the 2018 season.
Summer season, yeah.
So
Sheesh.
it's a lot going on.
It was a
there,
lot.
Six
Like
Flags.
I remember watching that video being like, this is a long video.
It's awesome though. I love that Six Flags constantly does this every year, where they'll bring in a couple coasters, they'll redo some now.
Yeah.
Since RMC is just the master of that.
Yeah.
They'll redo coasters, or they'll build completely new coasters. I can't remember a year where we haven't seen
A Six Flags.
a Six Flags new coaster in some shape or form. Whether it be a 40,
like you
40
said,
free fly
yeah.
coaster, some compact designed coaster,
Or a remodel or whatever, yeah.
or an RMC makeover,
Yeah.
or even a completely new coaster like we're seeing
know.
with Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
So, tons of really awesome stuff going on.
Keeping RMC in business
for
and keeping
real.
them busy.
Well, RMC is also doing a Twisted Timbers and a Mean Streak redo over at Cedar Point, and it's owned by Cedar Fair. King's Dominion, I want to say, or King's Island, one of the two.
Yeah.
But they're keeping busy. Definitely go follow their Instagram because they're posting some teasers and stuff.
Rocky Mountain.
RMC, yeah,
is
Rocky
their
Mountain Construction. Super cool stuff that they're posting.
Wow.
If you ever want to see behind the scenes stuff, they post a lot of cool stuff. Well, that just about wraps it up for the news this
All
week.
right. Stick around. We're going to talk about what we do to prepare for a trip. I get to go in this pavilion.
You too.
It won't be that.
It's not the wonders of life of it. You get to go into the festival pavilion.
Yeah, the festival. We don't know what to do with it, so we use it for festivals.
That's all we do.
Because I think that's where the glow drink one is.
I believe it is over there. Yeah.
Ricky posted a good video of like a walkthrough of all
so
the booths.
cool. The Tron-esque.
I'm wondering what music's in there though, because he just put over like generic production
I'm
music,
sure
and I was
it's-
like, "What's in there?"
How
'Cause it
awesome
kinda
would it
looks
be
like
if it's this stuff?
Like, whoa!
That's amazing. Throwback.
So we're talking. If you already didn't know, because you listened to the first half of the episode, we're talking about getting ready for a trip because I'm going this week.
Yeah, you leave Thursday.
Thursday morning, get on an airplane.
So if you want to see RJ, you already know what park he's going to be in.
Yeah, I told you 2 of these. Don't stalk me, please. I think we've made it clear where I'm staying too. So
I think we have as well.
don't be creepy, please.
You can do a little meetup.
Totally.
It
So
could be the debut of the Spaceadilla shirt.
Did you make one yet?
No,
Oh, well,
but I
gotta
could have one up
draw
by the
one on a
time you're
Sharpie.
there. Yeah.
Drawn on a white T-shirt.
Proof of concept.
Spaceadilla. Spaceadilla. Still kills me.
It's so funny.
Well, I mean, this is definitely. So we're talking about prep. I'm most excited for Disney World, but obviously, what you do to prep is going to depend on what resort or park you're going to go to. Like you said before we started recording, like if you're going to Waterworld here locally,
It's like the day before you literally go to
the day
King
before you go to
Soopers.
King Soopers and you buy your 4-pack of tickets.
Well, I wouldn't say the day before. Week before, you ask your friends if they want to go,
yeah,
and then you go on like a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, and then, or like when school's in session,
Yeah.
and then you head to King Soopers the day before, pick up a 4-pack, and then have your friends pay you back.
But Disney World, as we were talking about too, you're already talking about a trip that's little less than a year.
Yeah, like a month less than a year away.
And then I've been planning this trip since
It's been a while.
this spring,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, pretty much.
And we had to move it up at one point even too, which added a whole nother
Level to it.
level of weirdness. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, but Disney World, I would say, is the one that I really plan for.
I think you have to, and I think we've talked about this a lot with Disney World, because it's such a vacation destination on its own, of its
Yeah.
own type. Accord. You have to hit those dates when you can. You got to get the 180 day for reservations. You got to get your 60 day for fast passes.
Because if you don't, other people will.
other people will, and you will be left in the dust.
Which stinks.
Which, if you don't know, go back and listen to some of our episodes. Know Before You Go episodes, some of those other ones.
early episodes. Like 13 and less
Yeah.
type of deal.
Listen to some of those because we give you some really good advice on planning for a Walt Disney World vacation, because there is a lot of planning that goes into it. But I thought we'd talk about some of the more fun planning that happens right before.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun planning that goes into it. I mean, I'm already stoked for my trip,
Yeah.
and that's literally
year
11
away.
months
Yeah.
away.
Literally a year away. Yeah.
And we're already going through like, hey, here's our ideal list of restaurants we want to eat at.
That's a good thing to do.
So we figured out our dining plan. We're already budgeting everything.
That's good too.
And we're thinking, okay, so with this dining plan, here are if we could get reservations at any restaurant, here are the restaurants that we want to get on these days. I don't know. Do you want to start out with like, what's your first step in planning a trip?
I always go to touring plans.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie. So if you guys don't know, touringplans.com, they have this thing called the
Crowd
calendar. Depending on when you're trying to look at it, you may have to pay the $7 a year or whatever it is. It's totally worth it, by the way.
Without
I would
doubt.
say 100%. And I think
we're not sponsored in any way, shape, or form by
and I
Touring
pay
Plan.
for it every year.
It's fantastic.
It is amazing. So I would say 100% worth it. Go there first because you kind of want to look. I know generally that September, October is not going to be too bad because school's in session.
At least at Disney World.
But there are good weeks and there are, okay weeks in those times too. So you want to look at that. That's always my first move.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not just Disney World that they have. They also have Disneyland. I think that's it, though.
So basically,
but they have unofficial guides to like Universal, to DC, to Vegas.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
A
couple other ones because Tom
Disneyland
Bricker
and
writes for
Disney
them
World.
and he travels a lot.
Yeah, he has a ton. So it's pretty cool. They're very insightful, even if you're not just going to like Disneyland or Disney World. Or
I use a lot of their
Universal.
other guides too, like looking at hotels or whatever too. Like
hotel
and get
guides
basic
around the area.
information. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're really, really useful.
So basically, the crowd calendar tells you on a score of 1 to 10, 10 being the crowdedest,
Crowdedest, the most crowded,
the most crowded, and 1 being the least crowded. What the entire resort is that day, and then by park.
And they do the same over at Disneyland. So
Yeah,
like it'll be like the resort as a whole
is an 8, let's say, and then Disneyland's a 6, and DCA is a 9 or whatever. You kind of average it out.
To an extent, yeah. So if you really want to just get a quick look at like, okay, how busy am I gonna feel, or how crowded is it gonna feel when I'm there? That's where you look at the resort as a whole.
Yeah, and that's what I always do. I look at that big resort number, and then when we get closer, when we start thinking about reservations or fast passes or whatever, then you start looking at the day-to-day park by park.
Yeah. So like you'll go, like you were saying earlier, on September 8th you're going to like Epcot, and then the 9th you're going to Hollywood Studios.
And probably because
Night of Joy.
Night of Joy is happening. So
yeah. I was forever grateful for touring plans when my family and I went during Christmas.
Because you could at least play the number some, yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it's
granted,
8.
we never
Even if
saw
it's an
anything.
8, yeah.
We never saw anything below a 7.
Yeah, but at
Or
least
an
a
8.
7's better than a 10 if you play it wrong.
Yeah. So I mean, I had heard before, like, on Christmas Day, because we were there Christmas Day, which
It's magical, but also
it's
crazy.
It's crazy. They're like, I had heard before. Yeah, Christmas Day, never go to Magic Kingdom. Epcot can generally handle the crowds the best. So I'd heard that before, and then touring plans projected it to be like, that was our 7-day. Like Christmas Day at Epcot was our only 7-day, and it was great. The entire trip, though, we never waited more than 30 minutes for anything except Midway Mania because of the dumb tiered fast pass system that they have over at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
So we waited
They have
in
it at
Toy
Epcot
Story.
too, but it's way worse than Hollywood
But it's
Studios.
so
Especially right now where there's like 5
There
attractions.
are 4 rides.
Yeah.
Literally
I know.
4 rides.
I know.
5 if you include Muppet Vision.
And
but
they're
4.
in tiers, and it's like,
It's so
Are you kidding me?
annoying.
oh, I know. I went through that pain.
But there's a bunch of shows and stuff that you can
There
see.
is. I'm gonna have to go watch Disney Junior on stage.
Your kids will like that.
I showed them a video of it just to show them, and they're like, "I want to do that." And I'm like, "Okay, we're gonna do that."
That's sweet. No backrest for you. For
No, sitting on the
45
floor.
minutes.
Yeah.
Crisscross applesauce.
That's right.
Okay, so you check touring plans.
I checked touring plan. I mean, of course, that's like on top of checking the family calendar and like the work calendar
yeah,
or
just
whatever
making
too.
sure.
But
So of course, between
of course, like okay, this month is free to go, or these weeks or whatever.
you check touring plans, find the least crowded time.
Mhm.
Generally,
Then the other thing that might be a deciding factor, depending on when we're looking to book, is whether or not free dining is available. I don't know if we've really talked about that before, but it's kind of hit or miss, and they wait a lot. They've waited longer each year to announce it, to the point where it's almost not worth waiting for it because you're running the risk of being
of paying way more for your hotel than you should.
well, and then being that much farther out to book your dining reservations potentially,
Yeah, and
or your
fast
fast
passes
passes.
and
So
stuff.
kind of not the planning aspect, but you look for a better deal. This year we went through the Magical Travel. We went through Travel Agent.
Yeah, you did.
We've talked about that in an episode, and we really enjoyed that whole process. And the other day, we got our $50 gift card.
Sweet.
You get $25 normally, but if you tell them Inside the Magic sent you, you get an extra $25.
And if you tell Inside the Magic that Unmistakably Magic sent you,
They'll go,
you
"Who?
get nothing.
Huh? Who? Who is that? What do you want?"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that was really helpful because they were like, we can get you that deal if it comes up. We can move reservations around, but it's better to get booked now so we can get you other things locked in.
Yeah. So plan early.
Plan early is definitely for World.
Look at touring plans.
Yeah.
Yeah, for World. For Disneyland, I mean, I even mentioned this before we were recording, but I was like, yeah, Disneyland, I'll either text my friend, text Nathan. We've had him on before.
Yeah.
Text Nathan, or
What are you doing on this day?
yeah,
Want to give me
just be like, hey, you free or you working? Can I get in the morning, or am I gonna have to wait till the afternoon? Type of deal. But just text him like a week or two before. Like, yeah, I'll look for cheaper flights, but generally I can find flights for $100 round trip, or
less.
My limit's around 150.
I was about to say sometimes you can find less.
Yeah. Oh, it's so great. Round trip, and I mean, I'll just go out for a weekend and just pack a backpack and go type of deal.
Yeah, I think that's one thing we've talked about a lot is that World, you definitely have to plan way more. I mean, we already said
But that isn't to say that you don't have to plan for Disneyland. Like, obviously, we have friends and family that live out in California.
Yeah.
So we can take advantage of that, both of us.
But we still use like touring plans to make
we
sure
use
that we're
touring
not
plans to
going
check.
on like a 10, like something
Even if I am
foolish.
going on a 10, gonna head over to the other park when it's not.
Yeah, and their plans are their touring plans, their actual plans of like go to this, do this, do this.
They're
really
fantastic.
good. Yeah.
They are great. We followed those. Like, I generally follow them nowadays, but when we went during Christmas, like,
We'll just
pretty much
call
follow
this
them to a
episode Ode to Touring
Ode to
Plans,
Touring
because
Plans.
really, like, it's my first.
they're
It's my first, and I continually look at it. So
lifesavers.
They really
It's
are.
great.
yeah,
But I mean, like, so when you're going to Disneyland, you don't have to make really dining reservations. Like, it's funny, like,
it's an option if you want to, but it's not really necessary.
yeah, I think you were telling me, you're like, yeah, you wanted to eat at,
Carnation Cafe.
yeah,
And I was like, I'm going to call, make a reservation. And they're like, okay. And I was like, all right, thanks. And we showed up and we were like, I have a reservation. And they're like, okay.
pick a table.
Yeah.
There's 30 of them.
And there's only 6 people in here. And I'm like, oh, okay.
So it's a little different when you're going to Disneyland and, like, even Universal, because there's like 2 or 3 sit-down restaurants in the entire resort.
Yeah, it's a way different experience. But
So Disney
We've-
World is
we've
the
definitely
main one that
talked
we
that a
plan
lot.
for.
But yeah.
The main
Which
one
is-
we plan for is Disney
And it's the
World.
one that's coming out for me. So it's the one I care to talk about.
It's true. It's very true. So you check touring. So first you check overall schedule, life schedule.
Life schedule,
then
touring
touring
plans to
plans.
kind of get an idea of busyness, which, again, generally in my family, we go in the fall when school's in session. So it works out that we aren't really worried about, like, oh my gosh, that's a really high week or whatever. But
Yeah.
then after that, we would check, obviously, prices and start playing around. Have we not gone through a Disney travel agent this time? Get on the website, start playing around. Does it make a difference if we go this day or that day or show up this day or whatever? And then same with airfare too. Like, what's the cheapest day to fly out?
Yeah.
Southwest does a really good job because you can click on a calendar view.
Frontier does the same thing.
Do they? I imagine
most
airlines
airlines really
do,
do
yeah.
it.
And so you can look and go, oh, okay, it's going to be a lot cheaper to fly out like Thursday morning, like we are.
Yeah, rather than Wednesday night.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
Or Friday,
little
or Saturday.
Yeah.
That's always the big one.
Little tip for you too. If you just search on Google, like Google Flights, and you look generally around, if you're flexible by a couple days, Google will come up with a huge list of airlines that are flying that route, and it'll say before that it displays any information on pricing or anything, it'll say you can save like X amount of dollars if you fly out a day later or a day earlier.
Yeah, they
like,
do a good job of that.
Check that out.
Isn't it Kayak, I think, too, is another one that
Yeah,
they'll
Kayak
do, like,
has a
flight comparisons or whatever.
Kayak has flight comparisons. They also have a new tool, relatively new tool. It's the flight, what do they call it? It's basically like a predictor of if this is a good price.
They'll say
or
book
not.
it now or wait, it'll go down or whatever.
Yeah. Type of deal, based off of prior data.
Yeah,
they
so
have.
airfare is probably my next step. So maybe then once airfare is kind of locked in, so hotel and airfare kind of get locked in about the same time.
Yeah.
And when you lock in hotel, then you're also usually locking in yes or no dining plan and what dining plan, and then what park tickets and how many and all that too. So
Yeah.
then after that, it really starts to turn into like think about restaurants we want to go to. So we start looking over lists, especially because Disney World has been
You've been
crazy
expanding
with-
a lot.
with new restaurants. And then we also look and go, okay, did we like that one? Is it worth going back to? Is it not? Is it, whatever, too?
So you look at that. So you already know. So
By then, too, we know what dining plan we have, too. So you know,
so you know,
okay,
so
we
you
have
know what dining plan you're doing.
we
You know
have
what park
X
you're
number
going
of
to
credits.
what day.
Yeah.
So you know what park you're going to what day, and then that decides where you're eating.
And once we do that, then that frees us up when that
180.
180 hits. We can go, let's make reservations. Now,
if you're,
granted,
if
when
you're
we had
staying
to
on property,
move our trip up, we
threw that out.
threw that out the window. So we had to figure it out and kind of revisit the issue, which was also fun for us. So we got to do some new research and make some different options, and
Yeah.
it was good.
You just didn't get Be Our Guest dinner.
We did not get beer guys dinner or
Already
lunch
fell.
or.
You
But we
wait in
got
line.
back into Le Cellier. So
Wait in line for Be Our Guest
I've
lunch.
thought about it.
It's-
We'll probably
Use your quick service credit that you're
we will,
extraing.
I know.
Just do that. It's
We will.
fine. Get their turkey sandwiches to die for. It's really
I know
good.
it is really good. We've done lunch more there before, so I really wanted to do dinner. But
I'm sure your kids been in there, both of them?
no,
At a time that they
never,
would remember?
Ever. No, they've never.
So, your
I know.
kids would
I
love
will
it.
probably we will probably do it, especially because we're going to go on some lower days where it'll be worth going. All right, let's go there because we do
Yeah.
have most lunches are quick service credits for us.
And that's what I'm planning to. So I think we're looking at the Disney dining plan, which is the one that you got.
Yep, which
Which
is
is
the one sit down and one
quick service.
one quick service and one sit
And
down, and then
two
two
snacks.
snacks. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like our plans are looking fairly similar. Although
I
when
think in the end, you
plan
kind of
it-
you pick because you're like, I'm gonna get this one, I'm gonna do that. Like you're gonna pick the best.
Yeah, that's true. Although while I'm planning this current trip, I do also like to think of, okay, who am I going with?
That's true too. That's a good point because it was
So-
totally different before we had kids. We went on the deluxe dining,
Yeah.
which is an insane amount of food,
Oh man.
an unnecessary amount of food. But it was a lot of fun to do that, and definitely a change with kids because you're not going to make a kid sit down twice or 3 times in a day
No.
at a long sit down meal.
Especially when they're young, like
When they're young,
toddler,
like mine, yeah, preschool and toddler age, that you're not going to be like, hey, let's sit down and have a 3-course meal in France
3 times a day.
3 times today. Yeah, we're going to have a buffet breakfast, and then we're going to go have steak for lunch and then steak for dinner.
Have your kids put on 40 pounds each
Yeah.
in the week and a half
Yeah,
that you're there.
it's not. Yeah, that was insane. Anyway, it was so much food.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely going to depend on who you're going with, and that was the thing too. We picked some restaurants that was like, was it our favorite? No, but are the kids going to love it or something? Probably.
Well, not even that. It's like, because Nathan has never been to Disney World before.
So you got to do some of the really unique experiences too, even if they're not the best
Yeah, that.
food wise. But
Plus, even just the order at which you introduce him to the world.
that's true.
You got to start out with something familiar. So we're starting at Magic Kingdom,
Obviously,
regardless of
yeah.
what it is.
Yeah, we're not, which is odd. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And then you go into Epcot. Like, we're going order that it was built.
Which is a good way to do
Which
it.
is a great way to do it. Because I think, like, yeah, you get the familiarity of Disneyland with Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
And then
The
you jump
oddly-
into...
the odd familiarity.
Yeah, like-
wait, why is this over here?
This shouldn't
This
be
shouldn't
here.
be over here. It should be over there.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Which, oddly enough, well, not surprisingly enough, you get at every Magic Kingdom park that you
sure,
go
yeah,
to.
which we heard from Nathan too. Yeah.
And from Paris as well. So we're going Magic Kingdom first, and then we're going to Epcot, because Honestly, after something familiar, you got to go something extremely drastically different.
Well, and it's
than what you're used
it's
to.
so unique to World too.
It is that and Animal Kingdom. So then we're going back to like kind of the more familiar with Magic or Hollywood Studios.
Where it's kind of like, hey, this is like some of
Just
the DCA stuff.
Hollywood
and-
land
yeah,
at
yeah.
DCA. Yeah, and then we're going Animal Kingdom.
The other,
carries-
yeah, the other extreme, yeah.
the other extremely
No,
awesome,
that's a
like
good way to
very
do it.
different way to do it. And then we're looking at, okay, what's the lowest numbers on each day, or like
That's a good. Yeah.
where do we want to eat? Like really want to eat, so that'll dictate where we're going.
Will you be Epcot Food and Wine Festival then, or no?
We're looking early August.
So maybe if they extend it again, if they add
Probably.
some more days to it, maybe. Or it could be like the one year where we happen to hit like a cold or a soft opening
opening
day.
of
And it
it,
was
yeah.
like, oh, these booths are open. We can do Food and Wine Festival.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. It was really like, whoa, random.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of we'll finish the
we could talk some of
process.
this in after show. Yeah.
We'll finish the process, yeah, and then I'll talk about it in the after show a little bit. But so then you life plan,
life plan.
life schedule.
Then you
touring
look at
plan
touring
schedule.
plans to kind of get an idea of busyness. Then you look at airfare / hotel and kind of costs. And then you look at like dining, because that's the first thing that comes up in terms of deadlines. And then you start thinking about fast passes. Then basically after that, it's about packing up clothes. Like that's really kind of what it comes down to. The like this week I'm like charging batteries,
Yeah,
loading up backpacks, starting to pull out clothes. Found my rain jacket because it might be kind of rainy there.
it will be. It's typhoon season.
Well, there's a Irma or something like that out in the Irma. That's the, like tropical storm Irma is out there
Oh.
spinning around.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're waiting to see what's going to happen. I'm like, well, we've
That's
been
fun.
lucky. We've been lucky 3 years in the past, so we'll see. It might be our year to have a hurricane.
You never know. You might get stuck in your hotel for a while.
Yeah,
Which would that be that bad?
at Port Orleans, maybe not.
Probably not.
So then that's where the kind of the fun prepping starts coming in, because like this week, I think actually last week he posted it, but I found it this week. Tim Tracker posted a video of our hotel,
Which is so cool.
walking through it and like going to the restaurant and seeing the food, and then I start looking at like the Disney food blog and seeing her Epcot food and wine guide, and we bought that guide, the PDF guide from her, and watched some of her videos on it, and then like started watching videos on our hotel's restaurants and some of the other restaurants we're going to. I started thinking about like, where do we want to go in Disney Springs that first night when we get there for dinner?
With your $50 gift card.
That's right. And then like they posted a really good, the Disney food blog posted to go on like top lounges, because you don't think about like a lot of the moderate and deluxe resorts have lounges,
Yeah.
and
Where
they're
you can
really
just sit
cool. And
back.
some of them have like live music, some have like, there's a piano bar one. There's like, I mean,
Trader Sam's.
Trader
Can't
Sam's.
go
there's-
wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many options. So this is where that kind of the fun prepping comes in, and it's really. It's the exciting. It's starting to get excited.
It's no
the
longer
Magic Band showed up a couple weeks ago. I put it on our Instagram.
Yeah,
like,
it's no longer logistical stuff anymore.
no, now it's kind of the fun. Like, yeah, everything's kind of booked in and it's set in cement for the most part as it is. And now we're kind of like, what are we gonna do when we get there?
Now
What are we
it's-
gonna take pictures
now
of?
it's
Or-
building the hype.
Yeah,
The hype is real.
yeah. And my wife did a really cool thing. We had a chain that my mother-in-law had made for my son's birthday, and it was Mickey Mouse. So it was like a black head with ears, then like a red ring, and
Yeah.
then like a yellow ring, and then a head, and then and we took a chunk of that and we counted down from 30.
Oh, cool.
So like up there's like 5 rings or whatever, or 6 rings hanging up, because I don't think we did it today, but like 6 rings hanging there, and so we've been tearing one off every day, and it's like the
Yeah.
kids are getting excited because they're like, the chain's getting shorter. So
That's awesome. So do
Yeah.
you do anything like kind of fun beyond that with your kids?
to
hype
count
'em up?
down,
Yeah, to hype 'em up.
like I took the kids to the Disney store last weekend, and we bought like a special toy for the trip,
Okay.
and they like got to pick it out, and then like I put it away, and I was like, okay, we'll get it at Disney World, which they'll get it on the airplane to Disney World, but
yeah.
Disney World.
Yeah.
That's really about it. I mean, we start listening to the music a little more. I think we pulled up a couple ride videos because the boy's getting old enough and big enough that he can ride just about everything,
Really?
short of Rockin' and Everest.
Ooh.
Because those are
Put him on
48.
test track.
Those are 48, and I think he's just barely, maybe 48, but not quite.
Ooh.
And I don't
you
know.
got 4 days.
I don't know if he can handle inversions, and
You got
Everest
5 days.
might be able
Everest
to,
would be
yeah,
good.
but-
I'm sure he'd like that.
put some popsicle sticks in his shoes or something.
Wear 4 pairs of socks today,
Yeah.
kid.
My feet are hot, Dad. Shh, 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 shh.
They're measuring you.
Stand
They're
up tall.
measuring
Yeah.
you. Hold your breath. Breathe in.
I mean, he's not even 4 yet, so I don't know if he's gonna. Roller coasters may or may
Well,
not be
that's
his
when-
thing. We'll have to see.
That's when I started getting into roller coasters. Was when I was like 4 or 5.
I'm thinking we do Goofy's Sky School, or
no.
not Sky School, the Barnstormer,
Barnstormer.
and do like Sky School. I don't know, right? The Barnstormer or Mine Train as a kind of intro.
I feel like you should do Barnstormer. If he likes that, then go Mine Train. And then if he likes that,
The problem is we're
go
going
Big
to
Thunder.
Epcot Hollywood Studios, which he won't do. There's no way he's going to do Rock and Roller Coaster. I mean,
No,
that's the
no,
reality.
but put him on test track at least.
I'll put him at Test Track that Epcot day.
If he enjoys test track, then he'll
Can fly
enjoy
everywhere,
everywhere
yeah.
else.
Yeah. Splash Mountain's closed though. That was the only other one I thought about, like not telling him what it was and then doing it, and then if he was terrified, then oh well. But
Did you do Big Thunder? Did you show him that one yet?
no, we mostly looked at Barnstormer. I think I showed him Test Track, but I don't think he fully understood what was going on because it's pretty dark.
Very
You know,
dark.
it's like it's not really an easy on ride
Tron.
video. Yeah,
Tron ride.
it's not really an easy on ride video ride, but yeah.
Tron track.
So they're getting
What-
excited.
What you should do though is
Do
bring
the
a
Tron
Yeah, you should.
track.
You should try that.
soundtrack
Yeah. Just bring some
because it's true.
earbuds.
I might end up riding by myself.
You probably will
So
once or
that's
twice.
At least once, yeah.
Bring some earbuds.
Maybe I'll have to consider
That'd be
that.
awesome. You should do it and tell me how it is.
All right. I'll
If it's-
try.
if it's legit or
I
not.
need to find it again. I downloaded it somewhere.
It's not that difficult. It's pretty
I'm sure if I
uniquely
Google-
named.
I'm sure if I Google it too, it'll come up.
Tron track.
Yeah, I mean that's basically it. Just start getting excited now.
Getting hyped.
But I think the big one is if you guys don't know about touring plans, use touring plans.
Touring.
What did I say?
Touring.
Touring. Touring plans.
Turn plans.
Using them touring plans.
Use that damn dear website, Turn Plans.
.com /http
HTTPS
colon
high dot low dot
high dot, little 2 dots, little some slashes going the other way.
www
Touring plans dot and
Dot-
then a
dot-
com.
dot TOUR plans.
You know, like PLAN, not like PLAEN or I.
We just isolated
Yeah, we
a
just,
whole group of
yeah,
people.
hate us now. Southerners are gonna come get us.
They'll find you.
They'll find me when I'm there in the South. Florida is the only state. The more north you go, the more south it is.
That's very true. it's funny.
Yeah, that's so big takeaways. Touring plans, if you guys don't know, is a good prep. Just a look, especially if you're not going. If you're going when school's out of session, look, because they do a really good job of researching special events, conferences that are going on, all those things that
They
are
also
going to be
have
happening.
They also have fantastic food reviews, like restaurant reviews.
Yes,
and
and-
it's
and-
all user input.
And hotel reviews too, because they also say like, get this room, get that room.
Yeah, like
that.
request
Yeah.
room 112, or like
have
request,
a cool
if
view
you're-
of this or whatever.
If you're staying at the All-Star Music Resort, request room 724 because you don't want room 711 because 711 just has a big pylon out in front of it. 720 or 34 has a fantastic view of the pool.
Yeah. So check them out. Shop around. That's the big thing too with play with the website. It's not the most convenient to go back and forth on Disney's World's
Disney World
website.
does not make it friendly to go back and forth at
but
all.
if you use multiple browsers or
Open
multiple
many
tabs,
tabs.
I can't tell you how many tabs I've had open at times. Like, how many tabs? And I have 2 monitors sometimes. Sometimes I have
And they're
like
just
multiple tabs
full.
on 2 monitors. Shop around. Look for the best deal for you because there's going to be different deals at different times of the year in terms of discounts on hotel rooms or free dining or whatever else they may offer, or other discounts you're eligible for. We've talked about, military or, other professions and things like that too that have discounts.
Yeah.
And then same with airfare, be flexible with it. We in the past have flown and then stayed a night off property and then gone on property because it was way cheaper, but we didn't want to like move our trip or something. So do something like that. I mean,
it worked out well enough financially where you're like, yeah, might as well.
This is significant enough. We'll just do this. Yeah. So.
Okay. So do you ever schedule in when you're planning everything? Do you ever schedule in like relaxing days?
Yes. This time we did. In the past, we have not. Which you learn quickly if you go for like 7 days or more.
You're gonna
like,
want it.
My feet hurt.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Which I feel like 7 days is kind of the threshold. Where when me and my family go, we go for around 7 days.
The excitement can carry you through about 7 days. Beyond that, you need to have taken a break previously or take a break at that point.
And not that isn't to say like don't go to the parks, just
but maybe be prepared that day to take it. And I think that's the thing with us is we've gone enough, we've experienced it all, we have kids in tow. We're not going to try to ride every single ride. We're going to ride the ones that work for our family and for the majority of our party.
Granted, you might want to ride like Rock and Roller Coaster, even though.
Well, I have there is a single day where my parents are going to keep the kids for a day.
Yeah.
And we're going to go to Animal Kingdom so I can ride Flight of Passage. Yeah.
And, well, you're going to ride River Journey regardless.
Yes, we're going to ride that twice.
Okay. So, do you hype yourself up more now with the new things that are there? Like new Mission Space?
I've been trying to, like, not watch those things. As much as we watched them when they first got debuted, I've been trying to, like, go cold turkey on it. So I go in excited for the new stuff. Like, I have not yet watched Soarin' Around the World.
Really?
At all.
Okay, so when
other than the little clips or whatever that they were like, released when they were
when you come back, actually I want an update right after you step off of Soarin', if you like it better than Over California.
Okay, I'll let you know. I'll Instagram it.
Instagram. Okay, so you're not hyping yourself up. You're going in cold turkey because it's kind of like...
Because I can get hyped up enough on the old stuff. Like I said, now is when we begin to like listen to the music or like watch videos of attractions that we want the kids to be excited about.
Yeah.
So I can get hyped up enough just listening to the area music.
Interventions Plaza area music.
Oh, I can't wait to walk through there and look at everything.
It's so inspiring.
Yeah. Actually, I think that's where the glow drinks are.
It is. It's in Interventions, I think.
No, I was thinking about it. I was like, wait.
Which, okay, are you, I know you have kids, and I know you're not a huge drinker, but are you going to try some of the new stuff that because we've talked about a ton of alcoholic
Well, that's the problem. Is like, there will probably be a night where we maybe go to a lounge.
Okay.
And
which one?
I'm thinking I want to do Trader Sam's.
Trader Sam's is so cool.
I want to do Trader Sam's. More than likely, if we do a lounge, it'll be or we'll just go to Scat Cats, which is on our property.
Yeah, why not?
Or over to the other one that has a comedian. I can't remember his name now. Yeehaw Bob. He's over on... Because we're in French Quarter, or we're in...
Port Orleans.
We're in Port Orleans, French Quarter.
Yeah.
And at Riverside, Yeehaw Bob is there. He's there 4 nights a week. Or 5 nights a week.
Oh, so check him out. Yeah. And
he's like a comedian, musician.
Is he like relatively clean?
Yeah, they said he's relatively clean. I don't know if we'll take the kids, but if we wanted to go out for it. So, 50-50 shot, we actually make it to Trader Sam's or just walk over to Riverside.
Yeah.
Or go to Scat Cats. So, we'll see. I definitely want to do maybe some of the Epcot, the food and wine drinks.
The specialty beverages.
Yeah, I don't really care about the wine. Maybe some of the beer, but like the glow drinks look kind of fun, especially after watching
awesome.
Ricky's videos. So.
What about are you gonna try the green beer in Pandora?
Maybe,
because I've heard
I kind of want to try the one that has boba in it.
Yeah, the boba margarita stuff. You should try that too.
And I also want to try mobile order. I mean, there's so much that I like. I want to try the mobile ordering so I can come back and tell you guys how good or bad it was.
Yeah.
Try some of those new drinks. Try some of the new food. The cheeseburger pods.
Oh, I know. There's so much new stuff there.
It is. So that's the crazy part about going into after. It's only been 2 years since we've gone last, but
there's a lot of new stuff.
It's a lot of new stuff.
Disney Springs is there now.
Yeah,
because that wasn't even a thing when you went.
No, because when I went, they were kind of starting that. You could tell because they had started to kind of tear some stuff out and do some remodeling, but they hadn't announced that yet.
Even when I last went, Downtown Disney was pure walls,
Yeah.
and still pure walls now, but it's opened up a lot more.
Yeah. Seems like a lot more.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, so just to rehash everything,
the
process that you go through
Yeah.
when going to Disney World, and it's pretty similar for me as well, is check life,
life
'cause schedule
you're gonna have
first.
to figure that out. Yeah.
then check touring plans.
Yep.
Within the life schedule.
Yeah. Where does that fit within
It's like
whatever
a-
days are available to me?
What are those dolls called? The Russian
like stacking
stack
dolls?
dolls?
Yeah.
So it's basically just opening.
Yeah.
one
The
of
first
those
one is
after one.
touring plans. You're going poop.
Well,
okay.
first one's life,
life. You're going poop. Okay. I have these dates to go.
and then touring plans,
And then poop, which for us
These
is
are
like
the
we have
cheap-
the entire month of September. Poop, like,
yeah,
and then it's like boop touring plans. Okay, the whole month of September. Okay,
sweet.
and then we go. Okay, Walt Disney World's website. Boop. Okay,
Well, Southwest or
Southwest and
flights and hotel.
yeah, flight and hotel. What does that look like? Boop. Okay, that's set. Then okay, dining because then you get the 180-day deadline, and hopefully you do it. Book
At
your whole
least
thing before 180 days, not move your trip up. Boop. Okay, we got that set, and then okay, fast passes.
90 days,
Because now I'm
fast
thinking
passes.
fast passes. Boop, and then it's like, okay, let's get excited. Let's start thinking about, what are we gonna eat? What are we gonna eat and drink at those restaurants? What are we gonna do? What rides are we gonna ride? What's new? Because like,
How am
what
I
is
hyping up-
closed? Because that's the other thing to look at is like,
Yeah,
look at the closures and see what's closed. Like Splash Mountain's gonna be closed while we're there.
How are you hyping up your kids? How are
Yeah.
you hyping up yourself? How are you getting excited
And then
for this trip?
we've talked about top 10 things to bring. Do you have
Yeah.
those things ready?
Yeah.
So
Which, if you haven't heard that episode, go listen to
was
it.
it episode 10?
Was
Were
it
we
10?
that smart?
Maybe
I think we were.
episode 10 was
Episode
definitely
10.
a top 10.
Yeah, it was a top 10 something, so go listen to that one.
Even if it wasn't top 10 things to bring to a theme park.
But that's really my process. I mean, stick around for the after show because we'll probably talk some more.
We'll probably talk about my process when I go
Yeah.
to Disneyland a little bit, or kind of my plans or planning
Yeah.
process for Disney World a little bit more. But yeah, don't stick around. Go to the after show after
Go to
this one.
because it's not detached anymore. Yes. I forgot.
Head over to the after show. We'll link to it at the end of this video if you're watching on YouTube. If not,
Go over to YouTube.
head over to YouTube.
Unmistakably Magic. Just search us and you'll see it there.
Which perfect transition.
Thank you for listening to the Unmistakably Magic podcast.
Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you got a little insight as to how RJ really plans
Yep.
when he goes to Disney World.
That's right. And if
We're-
you want to follow along on my adventures, I won't be tweeting, but you can follow at Unmistakably Mag on Twitter.
You can tell me what to tweet.
I can text you some pictures. Unmistakably Magic on Instagram. Facebook.com/Unmistakably Magic.
And hey, if you want to support us
That's right.
a little bit,
And you want to get on court and tell them to make a Spaceadilla shirt.
yeah, we'll hop over to our socials to yell at me first to make the Spaceadilla shirt. But if you want to support us and purchase a shirt, if you're heading over to Walt Disney World while RJ is there, so sometime this week and throughout next week, and then a little after that,
Yeah,
pretty much,
yeah,
because you'll be gone for 2 recording nights,
yeah, right, yeah.
basically.
I don't know. I can't count.
You come back on the second recording night, but
Yeah.
we have some fun in store for you while RJ's away.
That's right. Yeah. So
We have
make
some
sure you
good
subscribe.
episodes. Head over to unmistakablymagic.spreadshirt.com, buy a shirt, run up to RJ if you see him, and show off your unmistakably swag.
Yeah.
Unmistakably magic swag. Unmistakable swag.
Unmistakably swaggy.
If you're wearing stuff and you see RJ and you don't run up to him and yell unmistakably swaggy,
And if you do, I might be like, what?
he will pay no attention to you if you don't.
Email us, unmistakablymagic@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Do you have any questions as to more of the process that we go through?
Yeah, we'd love to give you some of our links, too, to other websites we use, other people we follow.
Yeah, we have plenty of resources that we use and have found on our own and through other people.
Yep. Go over to our YouTube, subscribe to us there. You can check out all of our old shows, as we're no longer putting all of them on iTunes, and the exclusive after show.
Only on YouTube.
Only on YouTube. Leave us a review on iTunes and go over there and check out the most recent episodes.
Feel free to subscribe on iTunes as well.
That's
You'll get minimum 2 episodes,
Minimum.
unless you download them all the time.
beforehand, yeah.
Yeah, before they go bye-bye.
A big thank you to our friend Dylan for making our awesome logo. He's from Blast Off Branding. And don't forget to check out our friends over at the Unmistakably Star Wars podcast.
Don't forget. Podcast.
Podcast.
Every week.
I know. I wrote this thing. We've read it 50 whatever times.
59 plus times.
Yeah.
We've done it over 59 times because we have some
We have
extra
2
stuff
in the
sitting in the
bank. So yeah, I don't
sitting
know
around.
what we're doing.
Well, got a little word from Wade.
Somebody who's giving students extra credit for subscribing to us.
In study hall, so it wasn't like legit extra credit. But thanks, Wade, for sending some more subscribers our way on YouTube. And thank you to whoever you are, because I can't tell who it is. Because YouTube changed their layout massively, and I haven't figured it out yet.
YouTube is weird now.
It's ridiculous. But thank you for subscribing to us, and welcome to the Unmistakably Magicians.
Is that what we're going with?
Thanks for being a magician with us.
Oh, my gosh.
Or just unmistakably awesome. Thanks for being unmistakably awesome with us.
Wow. Okay.
Well, that just about wraps it up this week.
All right. Have a magical week.
See you real soon.